Well, this is the fifth and final round of the Ssangyong New Zealand Superbike Road Race Championship, and you'll see in the 600 sports production class that young Sam Smith has a 32-point lead over Scott Charlton from Australia, so virtually unbeatable if things go his way here today at Pukekohe.
The plan would be to try and wrap the title up in the first race, wrap the championship up in the first race. I can afford a DNF and a fourth position, so if I can just sort of get inside the top four in the first race, that would be the goal. And then the TT race, just sort of try as hard as I can, and hope to defend my title in the New Zealand TT race.
Third in the class, Fielding's Craig Sheriffs. You're the defending 600 title holder, but you've got a bit of work to do in that class, haven't you?
Yeah, it's not looking too hopeful, to be honest. I'm struggling a little bit on the 600 this weekend, but well, you know, we're still mathematically in it, so you can't give up until that's not achievable.
So this is the first of the 600 sports production race, and a great start there from bike number 37, Jay Lawrence, but an even better one from number 88, and that is Sam Smith. You heard him say in the interview he wants to wrap up the title if he can in this race. I'm joined in commentary by past New Zealand road racing champion Paul Pavletic. Pav, you know Sam Smith. Is this what you expected?
No, I absolutely didn't. I just thought he was just going to be fairly mellow and just get the job done, win that championship, bank the title. But he's just so young and full of fire, he just can't help himself.
Well, he's got a bit of a tiger on his tail here in the form of Jay Lawrence. There is Scott Charlton from Australia, and right in behind him it's Andrew Stroud, number 2 on yet another Suzuki, and Craig Sheriff's up there as well. But Sam Smith has already got quite a comfortable margin, especially comfortable, Pav, when we talk about the 600 class. Last year they were handlebar to handlebar.
It was frightening last year, you know. I was just gasping. I was going, oh no, this is looking scary. Hey, I think Jay Lawrence may have jumped the start there. I think the officials will be taking a really close look at that.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that for the moment, though. He's up in second place on the Kawasaki. Right in behind him it is Scott Charlton. Now Charlton, well, he's not that, if he has a really good day, he can finish on the podium in the national title. I know he'd like to do that. He got his season off to a bit of a slow start, but he's come on like gangbusters in the last couple of rounds. That's him, bike number C on the Pirelli shod Yamaha. But it is Sam Smith, the 19-year-old, celebrated his birthday on Friday, so still a teenager, here looking to wrap up his first national senior title.
Wow, the good thing too, Phil, you talked about it, we've got Dunlop, Pirelli and Continental. 3 tyre brands fighting it out at the moment, and we love it because, you know, it just adds an extra dynamic.
So Andrew Stroud just trying to latch onto this group, and going with him is bike number 1. He's the defending 600 sports production champion. That's Craig Sheriffs on the Haldane Suzuki, but at the moment he's a distant 5th place. And that really sums up his title chase in a way, Pav.
Yeah, look, I just don't think they've got any answer for Sam Smith at the moment. You know, we thought he was going to take it easy, but he's obviously doing this comfortably. He set a blistering pace, near a 58 flat in qualifying, and, you know, everybody just stood back and went, that's not possible. But Sam Smith did it on that Yamaha R6.
Andrew Stroud down the inside of Jay Lawrence here, just gets the pass done as they come out of the hairpin. So Stroud moves up into 3rd place, Lawrence goes back to 4th, then it's Craig Sheriffs.
I'd have to say, Phil, this year the Suzukis just do not have the legs. They don't quite have the speed. And that's a shock because, you know, Suzuki have owned this class for as long as I can remember. So this year, Yamaha are really on top.
Well, that's right. The talk in the pits is that the Yamahas are a cut above the rest of the bikes out here. But great to see that all the brands represented in all the classes that we'll cover today. There is bike number 2. That's the brother Suzuki of Andrew Stroud. Right in behind him, the Museum Hotel Kawasaki of Jay Lawrence. And now Craig Sheriffs wakes up a little bit. But what's going on your screen is not the battle for the front. In fact, there is no battle for the front because Sam Smith has said goodbye.
Oh, I don't know. This Aussie boy's pulled the pin. He's putting a blistering lap in. He's doing mid-58, so he's got the bit between his teeth. He's desperately trying to hunt down Sam Smith. Got to get in that slipstream. Follow Sam over the top of the hill where he's really fast.
Well, it's a Victorian. Scott Charlton came here last year, rode a Suzuki for Brian Bernard. Bernard changed brands in the off-season, and Charlton, looking more comfortable on the Yamahas this season, sits in 2nd place. And he is getting closer.
Yeah, these guys want to mess his strategy up. They want to get up close to him and possibly force him into a mistake. That's the only way they're going to win this championship.
Well, what a difference a year makes, because we saw last year on this very track at this very event Sam was a little overawed by the aggressive tactics of both Charlton and Chris Seaton, and we should say Seaton not riding today. He had a crash yesterday in practice and damaged the shoulder, so he's out of it. And here's Charlton into the front as we speak, down into the braking area for the hairpin. The back wheel just about leaps off the ground, so it's Yamaha 1 and 2. It's Brian Bernard Racing, Pirelli Yamaha in front, and it's Sam Smith on the Power Horse Energy Drink Yamaha in second place.
Well, there's not a bike on the track that handles better than Sam Smith's. They were in and out of the pits constantly on Friday, dialing the suspension in little bit by little bit.
And here he comes down the inside as they go across the stripe. Once again, it's a straight-out drag race, and it's Sam Smith that gets the nose in front as they head into the sweeper.
And that's simply because he come over the hill faster, Phil. He's just dynamic coming over. He doesn't button off at all. That little 600 is pulling 16,000 revs over the top of the hill there.
Well, you know, we mentioned the tyre war. Here's a graphic example. Sam Smith on Dunlops and the Yamaha of Charlton on Pirellis. Here's another man on Dunlops. This is Craig Sheriffs. Just up in front of him, it's Andrew Stroud. And in front of them, it's Jay Lawrence. But they've left their attack too late because the checkered flag comes out and Sam Smith wins the first race of the 600s. And in doing so, clinches the New Zealand title. The 19-year-old gets the win and the title. In second place, it is Scott Charlton. Third place will go to Craig Sheriffs. And that's because Jay Lawrence was penalised for a jump start. And he finishes down in 7th. Well, look at this, the crew paying homage to the young man. He has taken the title. Tell us what it means to you to win this national title as a teenager.
I'm honestly speechless. I just don't know what. I'm just absolutely speechless. It's just an absolutely amazing feeling. It's just, yeah.
Well, as we move on to the Superbikes, there's really only two men in it. This man, the defending champion, Andrew Stroud, and Australian hired gun, Robbie Bugden. And have a look at this. It's as close as you like, just 6 points separating Andrew Stroud from Robbie Bugden. And Stroud only got into the front at the previous round at Manfield. They've been swapping the points lead right throughout the 5 rounds.
I've never really been one to just go from the flag and try and make a break and get out there. I kind of like to follow a bit and work things out and see how everyone's going for a while and then try and get in front at the end.
Beat Andrew. That's it. I got no choices. It's got to beat Andrew, and that's it.
So can he beat Andrew Stroud? If he can, maybe he will take the Superbike crown home with him. It's a Yamaha that gets the best of the starts, though, as they head down into the Jenny and home sweeper, and I've got a feeling that that'll be Tony Rees out of retirement and whole shots the Superbikes, Pav.
What a great effort. Like, he's been retired for 2 seasons, and to come out and do that, and the lap times he's been pulling in practice and qualifying are staggeringly good.
Well, he leads the big field down past the kink. It's number 11, Tony Rees. I talked to him before this race, and he said he can put it together about 3 good laps, and then the fitness starts to tell. But he's got a good lead as they come into the hairpin for the first time. It looks like Robbie Bugden up into second place. Another Yamaha out there, that's Scott Charlton. We've already seen him running in the 600 race. And there is Andrew Stroud. Now, Andrew talked in his interview about not being able to start quickly, and that could cost him here, Pav.
Yeah, well, I think that's why he's learned to be such a hard breaker, because he comes through the field. You said it earlier too, Phil. Bugden, he is a hired gun. He's demolished some lap records down south. He is exceptionally good rider.
And what makes that more astonishing is that he's never seen these tracks before. He just goes out and he gets down to business and he reels off quick laps, lap after lap after lap. That's what Tony Rees wants to do.
Wow, Bugden's 26 years old. He's a former flat track champion in Australia. Very talented man, and he's just got full of fire in his belly.
But once again, you see the advantage that the Yamahas seem to have, because it's Tony Rees, number C, Scott Charlton. Charlton looking round the outside as they come through the kink down to the hairpin again. Oh, it's a long way round the outside, but he's going to do it. And Stroud's going to pick the pocket of Rees down the inside. So Andrew Stroud will move through into second place.
There goes that braking. Nobody outbrakes Andrew Stroud. When he's got his heart focused, he can just pull out these incredible braking manoeuvres.
Well, maybe he outbraked himself, because Rees took it back fairly easily, and Bugden now right on the tail of Andrew Stroud. And that's the bikes you got to watch for, folks. It's bike number 1 and it's bike number R, Robbie Bugden. Suzuki on Suzuki. That's where the title will be decided. But what about the show the Yamahas are putting on at the front of the field at the moment?
Yeah, Peter Payne will have a massive smile on his face. Remember too, Bugden finished 3rd in the Australian Championship last year. Andrew Stroud was 4th. There was only a few points in it. These guys have duked it out for 12 solid months.
That's right, and we've got to put Craig Sheriffs in this mix as well, because he's tagged onto the back of this one, currently in 5th place at the moment, and I think he's had a more successful season this year on his Superbike than he has on the 600.
He has, and he's just cracked the 2nd fastest lap of the race so far. That's pretty impressive for a debut season on a 1000cc Superbike.
Well, Tony Rees just leaving the door open just a fraction there. That allows Robbie Bugden to go through. So it's Yamaha, Scott Charlton in the front, Andrew Stroud, the defending champion, on the brother Suzuki in 2nd. And then it is Robbie Bugden. We talked about a tyre war in the 600 class. Well, there's a tyre war going on in the Suzuki camp, because Bugden, down the inside of Stroud as they come across the stripe, is on Dunlops. Stroud is on Pirellis.
Yeah, it sure is, and this means so much to the distributors. They really want to get the results so they can sell these tyres on Monday.
Pav, you've been there and done that. Is Charlton bolted?
No, I don't think so. You know, like these guys, if they put in a couple of crisp laps, they'll pull them back in. You know, you can make a lot of ground up at Pukekohe. You've just got to keep that throttle open just a little bit longer on the fast sweepers.
Well, expert comments coming from Paul Pavletics, a man that has been there and done that, and certainly on this circuit here, his home track in Auckland, Pukekohe Park Raceway, 2.8 kilometres around, and the riders and the drivers love it. And the back wheel coming off the ground on Bugden's bike under braking. How hard is he trying? But equally, Andrew Stroud closes up the gap.
They know they have to be in front of each other. Don't worry if they're 2nd or 3rd, 4th or 5th. They just have to beat each other, and they're quite conscious of it. So Andrew Stroud's going to pull the pin shortly, if he can.
Well, that's right. Let's tell you about the situation. 6 points separating Andrew Stroud from Robbie Bugden. Scott Charlton could be the spoiler here, because it's 25 points for a win, and then it goes down progressively from then. 20, and then 16, 13, 11, 10, 9, and so on, down to 1. So the point spread is important. But as Pav said, Andrew Stroud's got to beat Robbie Bugden, or Robbie Bugden's got to beat Andrew Stroud at the moment. Bugden in the front, Stroud back in 3rd place. Then it's Tony Rees still holding on for dear life here.
Andrew Stroud struggling coming onto the back straight. I'm not sure what it is, whether his gearing's wrong or he's getting wheel spin. But the others are getting a jump on him, and that's a very important corner. You've got to get good drive onto the back straight. These bikes are cracking over 300 kilometres an hour down the back straight.
That's right, and I was watching one of the earlier races on that back straight, and it is scary, scary fast. And I can tell you that while we've been concentrating on this battle at the front of the field, we've lost Craig Sheriff on the Museum Hotel Suzuki. He's had a DNF and has pulled off the racetrack.
What has Andrew Stroud got up his sleeve? You know, this is where you've got to dig deep. He really got to draw on those 7 New Zealand Superbike Championships that he owns. You know, now's the time, Andrew. If you've got anything in that tank, you need to pull it out.
Well, you picked it, Pav, because I've picked up Scott Charlton now. There's Charlton in the front, bike number C, the Bernard Racing, Sanyong Yamaha, then it's Bugden, and then it is Andrew Stroud, and there's nothing in it. Look at Stroud tucked up under the fairing, trying to be as aerodynamic as possible. Here comes the big lunge, though, from Robbie Bugden down the inside of Charlton.
Pukekohe is all about slipstreaming as well. You know, you can gain 3 or 4 bike lengths easily down the back straight if you do it
Bugden
right.
made a mistake there, Pav. He just ran it wide coming out of the hairpin, and Charlton gets back in front.
Like this, there's some really hard bikes to ride, Phil. They've got 190 horsepower. They're bucking and weaving and spinning the tyres. You've got to be really strong to ride these things.
Yeah, I don't think people realise how much of a physical beating this is, because the G-forces coming into the corners, you're just as easy to go over the front of the machine.
Now, these things are capable of something like 9.5 second quarter miles. They're really powerful.
I can tell you the speeds they're going around Pukekohe compare to a V8 supercar. Now compare 180 horsepower to 700 horsepower.
Yeah, and these top bikes have got more than 180. I heard figures of 192 horsepower at the back wheel, and they weigh 160 kgs. There's nothing to them.
Well, great pictures here. You see Bugden ringing the throttle on his big 1000 Suzuki as he comes into the braking area, and now Charlton has a go. And, well, he did it so easily, Pav.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That just looked way too easy.
It looked so simple for Scott Charlton on the Yamaha.
Charlton's desperate to reward Brian Bernard Racing. You know, he really wants to get a win here, desperate to do the job.
Bugden in 2nd place, and you've got to say that Andrew Stroud just slipped off this pace for the moment. And look at Bugden, the bike shaking the head as he heads down across the stripe and into the sweeper. Side by side, Yamaha on Suzuki. Charlton changes lanes and then tries to go down the inside.
Well, it's going to be all on now. This is the last lap. This braking into the hairpin is going to be critical. Stroudy needs a good drive onto the back straight to get the slipstream.
Well, he was a bit closer, but you said it before, Pav. He just seems to lose a little bit coming out of Castrol. Now they go down the long back straight here at Pukekohe. It's Bugden, Charlton and Stroud. Lap riders, are they going to play a part in this again?
We're going to see some kamikaze braking, I'm sure of it.
It's Andrew Stroud. Stroud just puts their pocket and he's outbraked himself. He's gone way wide. Onto the grass goes the brother Suzuki. Andrew Stroud's thrown away a fine first place lunge here. And has he thrown away the Superbike title? They run to the checkered flag. It's Suzuki on Yamaha. It's Robbie Bugden. He'll close the points right up. The checkered flag will come out. Here comes the last lap lunge from Charlton. Oh, he got so close, but I don't think he got there. The officials say Robbie Bugden was the leader, and look at the distance between them. Scott Charlton, there was nothing in it. Andrew Stroud finishes third. And what about Tony Rees in fourth place? Best of the Hondas, Hayden Fitzgerald, and then the Kawasaki of Kerry Breyer.
The last few laps, I knew Stroud was right behind me, and he was going to have a big go. So I sort of tried to get in front of, try and put Scotty in between me and Andrew. But then down the hairpin, everyone just came and tried to mob me. But Stroud ran wide, and I just sort of managed to pick up the gap there. I seen Scotty tried to come back up the middle, but I just shut the door and tried to get myself to the finish line.
Andrew, describe that last lunge.
Well, I had to go, and I was just going in a little bit too hot, and I started turning it in, and the front tyre locked up a bit and started tucking under, and I had to hit the brake off and run wide off onto the grass and get back on. But it's fast pace out there.
Very fast. We're watching it from the Kinkin. Welcome back to Pukekohe Park Raceway for the Sanyong 2007 New Zealand Superbike Road Race Championship, the fifth and final round, and this is the TT title decider for the sidecars, and a huge field of sidecars here, Pav. Probably the biggest we've seen in many a year.
Yeah, there's a real resurgence, and it's great to see. You know, these guys are such a tight-knit community. They really work with each other to make it happen.
And it's Andy Scrivener and Steve Bryan that have got out into it in early leaders. We're on board here with Chris and Richie Lawrence in the Red Baron Motorcycles Yamaha-powered rig. Now, this rig is a 600cc machine. I'll get back to that as this battle tightens up at the front. Number 5. Now, that's the most modern and probably the fastest sidecar rig in New Zealand at the moment. It's the ex-Stacey Sellers rig from Australia. It's an LCR being driven by Steve Braun and Charlie Bilby. And they're fighting away with Andy Scrivener and Steve Bryan. Now, if Scrivener and Bryan can get good points here, they'll wrap up the New Zealand sidecar title as well as the TT title.
This LCR rig is just magnificent. It's got a 1000cc GSXR Suzuki engine. Its handling is just magnificent. And I think that's really where they get away from the other competitors.
So it's Scrivener and Bryan chasing hard, but it is the LCR. And since this rig's come into being here in New Zealand in the last couple of years, I think the rest of the Kiwi boys have really ramped up their preparation and their machines. A lot of the guys that riding in the New Zealand rigs, the bikes have been around a long, long time, and they've been slowly developing them. Well, now they've bitten the bullet and they've really come on like gangbusters.
Well, they're going to have to, Phil. You know, that's a $100,000 unit. It's a really classy machine, and if they don't match it, they're just going to fade into the distance, because that LCR is a magnificent piece of machinery.
Well, we got those onboard shots from the Lawrence brothers. There they are going around the outside of Dave Annan. So Dave Annan must have a problem, because that's a Steve Wells chassis, 1300 Hayabusa Suzuki, so it should have the power to hold out the little 600, but maybe Dave Annan in a bit of bother.
Well, it's probably got another 80 horsepower, so that 600 just should not be up the front of this field or near the front around Pukekohe. This is the fastest track in the country. Hang on.
Goodwin. Oh, and there's problems here for the Lawrence boys as well, and you get a graphic example as our onboard camera catches it.
No, that's a shame.
The engine's still running, so maybe a problem in the drive line. Meantime, Peter Goodwin holding out Dave Annan at the moment, but that's for the miners. Checkered flag comes out, and it is another win to Steve Braun and Charlie Bill. So they take the TT title here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. Meantime, the battle continuing. They had a big advantage over second and third. Here is second and third coming across the line now, and it is Stu and Darren Prentice, and right in behind them, it'll be Andy Scrivener and Steve Bryan, and they will have done enough to take the New Zealand title for another season. Good scrap going for the miners. Peter Wilton's going to hold on from Dave Annan as they cross the stripe. So Steve Braun and Charlie Bilby take the New Zealand TT title from Stu and Darren Prentice, Andy Scrivener and Steve Bryan in third, but they wrap up the sidecar title. Well, as well as being the final round of the Sanyong MNZ New Zealand Road Racing Championship, this is also the New Zealand TT, one of the most prestigious titles in New Zealand motorcycling. This is the 71st running of it, and this man out in the front of the field in the second 600 race is the defending champion, and that is young Sam Smith.
Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki in that order, and I'm really interested to see if Sam Smith can beat his lap record. The first race he got down to 58.3, and that's 0.8 of a second faster than last year's 600 record.
Well, he's got the usual suspects chasing him. It's number 37, Jay Lawrence on the Museum Hotel Kawasaki. Right in behind him, you'll see a gaggle of Suzukis, probably being led by Andrew Stroud. In there as well, of course, is Scott Charlton on the Bernard Racing Pirelli Yamaha. There is number 1. He is the current, well, he's not anymore, is he? Because Sam Smith has taken that title in the first race, but he was the defending 600 Sports Production champion, and that is Craig Sheriffs.
Yeah, and look, Jay Lawrence has had a really good disciplined start. He was perfect this time, no jump starts, and he's really got the hammer down, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do.
Well, you know, Sam said to us in the beginning of the proceedings this morning, he said, I wanted to wrap up the title in the first race. I'm just going to be conservative, and then I'm going to go for the TT win. Well, we know now that he wasn't conservative in the first 600 race. Whoa, and he gets a big wheelie and just clips the grass there as he heads down the back straight. I don't think he's going to be conservative in this one either, Pav.
Nah, he's just doing the business. He's probably still got a smile under that helmet a foot wide. He was delighted to win that championship.
Well, he was, wasn't he? He was absolutely overwhelmed. And speaking about overwhelmed, Scott Charlton overwhelms Jay Lawrence as they come out of the kink and down into the braking area for the hairpin here at Pukekohe. So we've got a change in second and third.
I really like the attitude of these Aussie boys too. They're really gritty blokes. They don't give in and they just keep that throttle nail.
Well, it's the secret to their success in every type of sporting endeavour. I think it's that, and you mentioned it, Pav, it's the attitude.
Yeah, they just brim confidence, and look, they get a bad start, they don't care, they put their head down and are into it.
And they don't like running second, we've seen that. Smith in the front, here comes Jay Lawrence attacking Charlton down the inside as they head into the Jenny and home sweeper. Can't make the pass stick, so the Yamaha stays in second. Then it's the Kawasaki of Lawrence, and then it's the Suzuki, the Haldane Suzuki of Craig Sheriffs, and right in behind him it'll be bike number 2, and that's Andrew Stroud on the brother Suzuki.
Oh.
The Suzukis, what a difference a year makes, Pav. They're out of it this time.
Yeah, it's only 3 or 4 horsepower. It's not a lot. They handle beautifully. They're every bit as good as anything else out in there. But this year, they just haven't got quite the horsepower. The Yamaha's doing a bolter.
Well, Sam Smith on the power horse, Dunlop Tyres, showy helmet sponsored machine. Well, as we speak, Scott Charlton, well, Sam made a mistake. He just ran it a bit wide out of the hairpin, and Charlton's capitalised on it. But I don't think you've seen the last of Sam Smith.
That Museum Kawasaki looks very stable. They're running Continental tyres and they're doing a bit of development for them. And yeah, they're a good tyre. They're right at the sharp end of this field.
Well, Jay Lawrence has come on like gangbusters this season in the 600s. He's been in the wilderness for a couple of years. Certainly got the talent.
Oh, he sure has got the talent. You just need the brakes. You just need the right team behind you, get the right equipment and the right attitude, and he sure has got that.
Well, we see that with Sam Smith, don't we? Currently sitting in second place under the mentorship of Davey Cole, and boy, he's doing a fantastic job with them.
Well, that's got to be worth half a second lap in itself. Dave Cole's a multiple New Zealand champion, and he just, you know, he's saving him a whole lot of grief because he can accelerate the setup of the bike when he goes to the circuits. All Sam has to do is twist that throttle and get on to the business.
Well, for the moment, it's an Australian in the front in the New Zealand TT title here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. He was didn't have the run in the 600s. He'd love to take a title back to Victoria, to Berwick in Victoria, where he comes from. He'd love to take the TT title. It's the most prestigious title other than the national title in the New Zealand scene. And for the moment, he's doing just that.
Yeah, he's looking good. You know, behind the scenes, Phil, there's so much activity in these teams. This is not a solo sport. All these guys have got 2 or 3 or 4 people helping them to get to this level.
We just saw Andrew Stroud making a bit of a move there on Craig Sheriffs, didn't quite come off, and I saw Sam Smith trying to make a move on Charlton, and that didn't come off as well, so no change in the order. Craig Sheriffs, well, he knows no other way, Pav. He's 110% rider the whole time, just about off the bike as he heads onto the back straight.
Well, all he's worried about now is beating Andrew Stroud. He wants to be the top Suzuki dog. That's all he's worried about, Phil.
So this battle going on at the back of the front group. Meantime, at the front, it's still the Yamaha show. Oh, look at that. Andrew Stroud skipping the back wheel under braking. We say he's good on the brakes. Well, there's a graphic example of it.
Well, these bikes, they don't have ABS. You better handle that brake lever properly, otherwise it's going to spit you over the handlebars. and Andrew Stroud is the master of hard braking.
We just got a glimpse there. Sam Smith getting a little bit closer to Scott Charlton at the front. We concentrate on this battle further down through the field. Now we pull out to the wide shot. Here's Smith having a go at Charlton down the inside. Oh, and the knee touched the fairing.
Oh, he's
Scott
giving a bit
Charlton's
back.
knee touched the fairing for sure.
Oh, last year, you remembered, he got bullied and mugged. It's not happening this year.
Well, that's right. He's grown another leg, I'm sure of it. You're so right, Pav. Last year, he probably would have been psyched out by that. This time, he's just kept the throttle pinned.
Hey, look, we had the radar gun out there in practice. Sam Smith was carrying a mile an hour faster over the hill than anybody else, and that's so important for that sprint down to the finish line.
Well, it's worked here because he's got in front as they go through the kink on the long back straight here at Pukekohe. Oh, Jay Lawrence, you're not going to outbrake Andrew Stroud.
No way.
It's not going to happen. And there's something hanging off Jay's bike. I just got a glimpse of it then. Looks like a fairing strut or something like that. We'll have another look at that when we get a bit closer.
Saw a puff of smoke too. Dunno, is something rubbing?
We'll wait and see. This race a little bit longer than what we've seen in the heat races. It's the New Zealand TT title on the line, and for the moment it's the defending champion back out in the front, and that is Sam Smith. There he is, bike number 88. Behind him, Scott Charlton. One of the lap riders just going to get in the way a little bit there is Jason McCamish. Does the sensible thing and holds his line.
Yeah, nice and steady. He's done a good job there.
Passes him easily. And there, look, that's a steering damper.
Oh,
there it is. It's a steering damper on the Museum Hotel Kawasaki. Well, you've got to give Jay Lawrence A for effort. You see the way the front hinge shook there as he came onto the back straight. The reason is the steering damper is hanging off the bike.
Well, the good thing is, too, it's the right end that's floating around, not up there. It's nothing's going to get blocked up.
Look at this, Charlton on Smith. This for the lead in the New Zealand TT title. And they come up again on some slower traffic. Now, who's going to be better through the traffic? We know the Australians all aggression, but you've got to say the same thing about Sam Smith this year as well. And Smith down the inside, and I think he's got in front of Charlton. He has. Well, he picked it perfectly.
Yeah, that was very, very good. That's the last lap. It's going to be all on now. Lap rider. Whoa.
What about Scott Charlton? Threading the needle as they go into the second fastest part of the racetrack at Pukekohe, through the big sweeper, now into the S's. Sam Smith's going to have to do something special here, Pav.
Yeah,
he's only got a half lap to do it.
He's going to have to get perfect drive onto the back straight and do the big demon out braking manoeuvre if he can.
There's Tony Rees just battling for the minors, hasn't ridden the 600 for something like 6 years, he tells me. We get back to the front of the field. Charlton, well, has he got this one? Down into the braking area for the hairpin. Hard on the brakes.
Last chance over the top of the hill. Last chance, Phil. This is coming down to over the top of the hill. Nobody is faster than Smith over the top of the hill.
Well, there we are. There's the prediction from Paul Pavlin. It's a man that's been there and done that, and I think you got it spot on, Pav. He's closing the ground up here. He's eating it up as they come up over Ford Mountain. Down the inside comes Sam Smith. The big crowd are on their feet. Has the Kiwi got it? I think he has. Oh, and there's nothing in it. A cigarette paper, no more, between Sam Smith and Scott Charlton. Look at that, 0.02 of a second between them. Jay Lawrence battles on for third. Andrew Stroud is fourth and Craig Shiris is fifth. But what about Sam Smith? What a day he's having.
That was very close. I honestly, I knew the last lap going down the back straight, I didn't actually get the draft that I wanted off Charlton, and I knew I'm going to have to just try so hard. I'm going to have to brake as late as I can into the hairpin on the last lap and just try as hard as I can round over the hill. And I seem to have just timed it perfectly. I sort of, got a really good run over the hill. The Dunlop tyres just lasted that last lap was all I needed, and they hung in there brilliantly.
So if we have a look at the final points, it is Sam Smith well and truly on top. He takes his New Zealand title from Scott Charlton and Craig Shiris, the defending champion from last year. Fourth place is Andrew Stroud, and in fifth it is Jay Lawrence. Sixth place went to Chris Seaton, seventh James Smith from Canterbury. Welcome back to Pukekohe Park Raceway for the fifth and final round of the SsangYong Motorcycling New Zealand Superbike Championships. And this is the TT title for the Superbikes. They've been contesting this for 71 years. Well, by coincidence, it's the final round of the New Zealand Superbike Championship as well. And the ones we're watching for, once again, are letter R, Robbie Bugden, and number one, the defending champion, and that is Andrew Stroud. Now, the positions, Pav, have been changed because now Bugden leads the title chase by 3 points. It couldn't be closer.
It's all down to the wire. They have to finish in front of each other. It doesn't matter where they are, really. They're going to be at the sharp end, take that for granted. But Stroud's got to beat Bugden, and Bugden's got to beat Stroud. That's all there is to it.
And wouldn't you love to get the starts that this guy's been getting all day? Scott Charlton from Australia leads them out of the hairpin for the first of 15 times. In second place, that's where the title contenders are. It's Bugden up into second, and I think it's Stroud in third. And they'll shadow each other right throughout this whole race, I'm sure of it.
That's a serious lead after one lap. He's really got the hammer down. Bugden, look at this guy, and he's set, I think it's 3 different lap records in the different circuits up the whole series. He's been phenomenal. 26-year-old Aussie boy, 4th in the Australian Championship, so he's on his way up.
Well, I know F's don't count, but he said to me before the proceedings started this morning, if he hadn't had a bad round in Mansfield, the previous round here in this 5-round series, he probably could have wrapped up the title here today. Is he going to do that? Not with a man behind him shadowing him. It's Suzuki on Suzuki. That's the battle for second and third. More importantly, that's the battle for the New Zealand title. And once again, Andrew Stroud's right in amongst it. Down the inside, he'll have track position as they come out of the hairpin. Bugden comes back at him. They're side by side. Charlton continues to lead. Tony Rees is back in 4th place, but the battles are on the bikes with the S's in the name.
Wow, Stroud, he just left his braking just a little bit too late there, went past the apex, and Bugden took full advantage of it. He's just really on his game, this boy Bugden.
So the Yamaha in the front, Bugden from Queensland, the brash Aussie, the hired gun if you like. Suzuki New Zealand said, come on over Robbie, we might need a bit of a hand in the title. I don't think they expected the battle to be quite as close as it's been, because Andrew Stroud for years has been their man.
And what a true sportsman Stroud is. He's done everything he can to help him get here and support him when he's been over here. That's the kind of bloke Andrew Stroud is.
Well, that's right. Let's put it into context, Pav, because Ray Clee, who mechanics for Andrew Stroud, also is doing the wrenching for Robbie Bugden, and in fact is using bits off Ray Clee's bike on the Bugden machine.
Tony Rees, look how good this guy is. He's been off for 2 seasons and he's running in the top 5 in the championship race.
That's right, doing a heck of a job. I talked to him this morning. I said, probably the last time you did laps around Pukekohe, Tony, it was probably in a car. He said, you've got that dead right.
Yeah, he's just so talented. It's a shame he retired. I want him to come back.
So there is Tony Rees, number 11. The customary number for Tony on the big Yamaha R1, the Menard Racing Pirelli Shod Sangyong sponsored Yamaha. Now this is the bike that Chris Seaton was going to ride, but as we told you, Seaton injured in a practice crash on the Saturday.
Bugden is on fire, 56.6. That's a new lap record for motorcycles. He means business.
And it translates onto the racetrack because he's wound in the lead that Scott Charlton's got, and he's gone past him like he's chained to a post. Now, can Andrew Stroud follow him? That's the question. Yes, he can. So the Suzuki's 1 and 2 now. The Yamaha of Charlton, his time at the front limited, perhaps.
He just seems to be able to pull these incredibly fast laps. That's 0.4 of a second faster than the outright motorcycle lap record.
It is certainly blisteringly fast. If you have a chance and watch motorcycles in the flesh at Pukekohe, the hairpin or the back straight's the place to see them. They go so fast and they get so close. And here's Andrew Stroud trying to close it up as they go through the big sweeper.
He's really good around that sweeper, Stroud. He closed the gap right up. This is his Achilles heel going onto the back straight. Watch what happens. I'm not sure. Is it gearing or wheel spin?
And look at that, Charlton back on this bunch as well, Pav.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't discount the second Aussie in this little battle, but it's Robbie Bugden. Remember, he's got a slender 3-point lead in the championship. Charlton down the inside of Stroud, and now he's having a go at Robbie Bugden as well.
Here he comes.
Oh, and Andrew Stroud down the inside. They're side by side, back wheels skipping off the ground. They are braking so hard, and Andrew Stroud back in the front.
Flips up the front wheels, first, second, third gear, through here, flicks into 4th gear. They're coming up to 200 kilometres an hour through this corner.
Well, heading up over the top, the advantage is as big as we've seen it in this whole race, and it's in the favour of the Kiwi, the defending champion, the brother Suzuki pilot. That's Andrew Stroud. Here comes Charlton again. What is it with this guy?
He just doesn't give in. He keeps that throttle wide open. That's what it is.
Bugden back into 3rd now.
Charlton's got that Yamaha perfect. The handling is just supreme.
Now let's watch this corner. This is the one you think he's having trouble, Pav.
Yeah, I do. There you go. Look at that. They just pull out and pass him. I know Robert Taylor's done a lot of suspension work on this Yamaha as well.
So it is Charlton back in the front, out of the kink they come. People that say the long back straight at Pukekohe Straight, have another look. It's got a good sort of a kink in it, but they hit it tapped.
It doesn't take long to get down that back straight on a superbike. Trust me, these things are cracking over 300 kilometres an hour.
Well, I was going to say, when you're going 300 kilometres an hour, it doesn't take long to go anywhere. And look at Charlton, he's pulled out a lead again, and Andrew Stroud shuffled back to 3rd, so Bugden on a charge now. If they're going to do this every lap, I'm going to have a rest.
Get the oxygen tent out, guys. Bill's going to have a heart attack.
Unbelievable stuff in the Superbikes. Charlton from Australia came over here last year, never seen a street circuit before, never seen the New Zealand tracks, and competed with aplomb. And here he is here leading the best riders in Australia.
He's running in the top 6 and 7 in Australia too, so that's the calibre of this guy.
Oh, and he gets so squirrely coming out of Castrol and onto the back straight, and that's where Bugden picks him up. But once again, Pav, you picked it because Stroudy's just left a little bit, but watch what happens under brakes.
If he could match the drive, he could be in complete control of this race, I'm sure of it.
Oh, Bugden trying to go around the outside. Is Charlton going to let him? No, he's not. Charlton dives down to the apex. They're side by side coming out. They set up for the left-hander. Bugden will have track position, but has he got the speed to do it? Oh,
Aussie
how
on
close
Aussie.
was that?
No prisoners there. Get out of my way. I'm coming through.
Obviously, there's no Team Australia orders here. Look how close Charlton gets to Bugden. He must know that he can spoil Bugden's chances of a title. Charlton can't win the title, but he can certainly spoil it for his fellow countrymen.
Well, look how fast Andrew Stroud come over the top of the hill then. He knows he's got to get right in the pack. He's got to get a slipstream out of these two Aussie boys so he can have a crack at outbreaking them.
Robbie Bugden on the New Zealand Suzuki. Right in behind him, it is Scott Charlton on the Yamaha. Then it is Andrew Stroud. Look, there's plenty of other races in this field, but forget about it, because this is where the action is.
Listen to that, just beautiful noise. That's 13,000 revs out of these big 1,000cc machines. Inline 4 cylinders.
Neil Martin having the best seat in the house there as he watches this freight train go past.
He'll be wondering what happened because these guys are serious. This is serious pace.
And the speed difference, he'll think he's stopped. Don't get off the bike, Neil. You're still running at over 100 kilometres an hour.
And he's doing a good job. He's probably circulating around the minute. He's doing good. These guys are just extremely competitive and fast.
Up over Ford Mountain is Bugden that's got the breathing space now. Charlton in second place, Andrew Stroud in third. Stroudy's running out of time here. He said to us he doesn't start fast. Well, we know that. We know he can brake quickly, but he needs to be a bit closer than he is at the moment if he wants to take another New Zealand Superbike title. He's got 7, he'd love 8.
Well, with all these Aussie boys coming over in the last few years, he's gonna have to start fast because they don't give you an inch. He's got to be on the pace from the start.
Look, just thinking about it, Pav, if one of the Australians can do this, and I mean Robbie Bugden, it'll be the first time an Australian's won a Superbike title here in New Zealand.
I don't want to think about it, Phil.
Well, yeah, I know you're a parochial Kiwi supporter, and good on you for that. Watch for Andrew Stroud, though, folks. Don't give up on him just yet. What about Scott Charlton? I can't believe this guy. He's hot and cold as they run down the back straight. 1 minute he's right on the pace. The next minute he's back in third. Now he's leading it. Bugden comes round the outside of him. Stroudy picks it up as these two start to dice.
Great throttle control too, Phil, because these bikes, they just want a wheel stand on the first 3 gears. They're that powerful, they just want to lift up that front wheel. They're putting all their body weight forward. Throttle control, perfect.
So Charlton leads across the stripe this time. Bugden down the inside through the sweeper. Can't make it work. Stroud gets a little bit closer.
Wow, it's going to be good, Phil. We're really trying to get more and more Australians over here for next season as well. So if we can get 3 or 4 more, imagine how good the racing's going to be. It's going to be brilliant.
Well, it's world class at the moment. You won't see better anywhere in the world than the battle we've got here, folks. This is the final round, the final race of the final round to decide the title, and it's the prestigious New Zealand TT title on the line as well. And here comes the Australian show. This time it's Queensland's Robbie Bugden. Stroud goes round the outside of Charlton.
Stroudy's just put his fastest lap in too.
Maybe just outbraked himself a little bit then because Charlton goes straight back in front.
He's fighting back. He's not giving in. He's did a 56.8, and that's the best lap he's done all race. He knows he's got to get close. He needs to be in striking distance. He's running out of laps.
Great pictures. They go over the top of Ford Mountain and across the stripe. They'll come once again. It is Robbie Bugden from Queensland, Australia. It is Berwick, Victoria's Scott Charlton, and then it is Hamilton these days. Andrew Stroud residing in the Waikato. I'm sure he's a Chiefs supporter. We won't blame him for that, though. He's a brilliant motorcyclist. There's no doubt about that.
Radar gun clocked them at 150 mile an hour on the dot as they went across the start-finish line earlier today in qualifying.
Well, and you can think that they'd be faster on the back straight because that isn't the fastest part of the racetrack. Absolutely. This bit here is, though.
Here we go. Stroudy's going to have a look up the inside. Oh, Charlton's braking superbly. Look at this.
Wow. Look at that handlebar to handlebar, in and out of the hairpin. Once again, Andrew Stroud gets a little bit closer, but is he close enough?
It's so important here. Sometimes these guys...
Oh, Bugden's off on the grass!
Crikey!
How did he save that? Robbie Bugden, well, he just overcooked it. He put both wheels on the grass. The bike got into a slide. He kept the throttle pinned, and he stays in second place. So Scott Charlton's going to win the battle. Who's going to win the war? Oh, I think Bugden got it over Stroud. It was very, very close. Scott Charlton gets the TT. Bugden will be second. And look at the difference between him and Andrew Stroud. But it's enough to give Bugden the New Zealand Superbike title. Scotty, you said you had a slow start to the New Zealand season, but you finished it with a bang, the New Zealand TT title. That's one of the most prestigious titles in New Zealand. Feel pretty happy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an awesome way to finish the year. Unfortunately, it was a slow start, so points-wise, I couldn't contend for the title, but I knew Stroud and Bugden were out there for the title, but I just wanted to go for the win, and I'm happy it worked out well.
Scotty rode well. You know, we race against each other in Australia, and we know what to expect from each other, and there's no favours anywhere, and that's fine by me. That's the way it should be too. But yeah, we come together a couple of times, but so be it. You know, that's what we had to do. Scotty rode well, and congratulations for winning that last race. But I was just happy to bring it home and get a championship for Suzuki and Dunlop and Owens.
Scott Charlton collided and Robbie went on the grass, and I was just happy he got back on actually. I backed off a bit and I was hoping he wasn't going to lose it because there's not a lot of runoff there in the but yeah, it was good. He came back on in front of me and we, you know, side by side. I knew the championship kind of was lying on it, but rode the best I could, and congratulations to Scott, Charlton and Robbie.
We just have to come back again next year and get that #1 plate back.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the big crowd will go home happy here from Pukekohe Park Raceway. There is the overall wrap-up in the championship points in the Superbikes. Robbie Bugden wins it by just 7 points from the defending champion Andrew Stroud, with Scott Charlton a fighting third place. Fourth place went to Craig Sheriffs, and in fifth it was Chris Seaton. Podium for the TT sees Scott Charlton win the title.